These include collective sacrifices to reduce the number of animals used, ensuring full utilization of meat and byproducts, and adhering to local environmental regulations. Such initiatives demonstrate Islam's harmony with contemporary environmental ethics. The role of education in preserving the legacy. Education plays a vital role in sustaining the spiritual and ethical dimensions of Ibrahim's dream and Qurbani. Teaching the story and its lessons. From early childhood, Muslims are taught about Ibrahim's unwavering faith and the significance of Qurbani. This education fosters spiritual growth and ethical awareness. Religious schools, family teachings, and community programs emphasize the values of obedience, mercy, charity, and unity embodied in Ibrahim's story. Youth engagement. Engaging young Muslims in Qurbani preparation, from understanding the rituals to participating in charity distribution, nurtures a sense of responsibility and belonging. This involvement ensures that the tradition remains meaningful and vibrant for future generations. Personal reflections. Living Ibrahim's legacy today. The dream of Prophet Ibrahim invites Muslims to internalize its lessons in daily life. Faith in action. Believers are encouraged to reflect on their personal sacrifices, whether in patience, generosity, or standing up for justice. Ibrahim's story inspires living a faith that is active, courageous, and compassionate, cultivating trust and gratitude. Trusting God's wisdom and showing gratitude for His blessings are continuous spiritual practices inspired by Ibrahim's experience. These attitudes foster resilience and contentment amid life's challenges, building compassionate communities. Ibrahim's legacy calls Muslims to create communities rooted in mercy, equity, and mutual support. Qurbani's communal spirit serves as a model for collective care and social harmony. Stories from around the world. Qurbani's impact on lives. Real-life stories illustrate how Ibrahim's dream and Qurbani change lives. In refugee camps, the distribution of Qurbani meat provides nourishment and hope to displaced families. In impoverished rural areas, families celebrate Eid with newfound joy, strengthened by the community's generosity. In urban centers, collective Qurbani programs foster social cohesion and spiritual renewal. These stories demonstrate the living, breathing legacy of Ibrahim's dream. The enduring legacy of Prophet Ibrahim's dream, lessons for today and reflections for the future. The dream of Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, and the divine test that accompanied it have left an indelible mark on Islamic faith and practice. As we conclude our deep exploration into this timeless narrative, it is essential to reflect on its enduring legacy, not only in terms of ritual and theology, but also in the lessons it offers for contemporary believers and the universal human condition. This final chapter weaves together spiritual insights, ethical imperatives, and practical reflections, inviting all to carry forward Ibrahim's legacy with renewed understanding and commitment. The legacy of faith and submission at its core. Ibrahim's dream is a profound testament to the power of faith, faith that transcends fear, doubt, and the material attachments of the world. It is a story that teaches us that true submission to God requires courage and trust, qualities that Ibrahim displayed in abundance. This legacy of faith is central to Islam's message. It challenges believers to embrace a relationship with God that is dynamic and responsive, one that calls for surrender, not out of resignation, but out of love and understanding. Ibrahim's willingness to act on divine command despite personal cost exemplifies a faith that is active, courageous, and transformative. His example urges Muslims to evaluate their own faith journeys, to ask themselves how deeply they trust, God's wisdom when faced with trials, and how willing they are to let go of their own desires to follow a higher path. The universal message of mercy, Ibrahim's dream, also encapsulates the mercy of God, a mercy that tempers divine tests and underscores compassion over punishment. The substitution of the ram for Ismail is a profound symbol of this mercy, demonstrating that God's desire is not for suffering, but for sincere devotion and spiritual growth. This universal message of mercy resonates across the Islamic tradition and beyond. It reminds us that divine justice is inseparable from compassion, and that acts of worship must be rooted in kindness and empathy. In a world often marked by hardship and conflict, the story of Ibrahim invites believers to be agents of mercy, extending compassion to all creatures, standing against injustice, and fostering peace in their communities. Living the spirit of sacrifice. Today, while the ritual of Qurbani is the most direct expression of Ibrahim's dream, its spirit extends far beyond the annual sacrifice of an animal. The values it embodies, sacrifice, trust, mercy, and charity, call for continual practice in daily life. Sacrificing for the greater good, modern believers are invited to reflect on what sacrifices they are willing to make for their families, communities, and faith. This may include giving time, resources, or comfort to help others, standing up for justice, or simply practicing patience and humility in challenging circumstances. Such sacrifices transform lives and societies, keeping alive the spirit that Ibrahim exemplified. Trusting in divine wisdom, Ibrahim's story encourages a trust in God that transcends immediate understanding. In today's fast-paced world, where certainty is often elusive, believers find solace in this trust, a trust that sustains through adversity and guides decisions grounded in faith. Embodying charity and compassion. The communal sharing of Qurbani. Meat is a vivid illustration of Islam's call to care for the less fortunate. Extending this ethic throughout the year by supporting charitable causes and helping neighbors reflects the living legacy of Ibrahim's sacrifice. The role of Qurbani in building strong communities. Qurbani serves as a powerful mechanism for social cohesion. It brings together individuals, families, and entire communities in shared acts of worship and generosity, fostering unity across diversity. Across the globe, Muslims from diverse backgrounds participate in Qurbani, creating a sense of belonging and shared identity. This unity is especially vital in a world divided by ethnic, cultural, and political differences, encouraging mutual support and cooperation. Community-based Qurbani programs foster cooperation, encouraging people to work together in organizing sacrifices, distributing meat, and educating about the ritual's significance. Such collaboration strengthens the bonds that hold communities together, promoting peace and mutual respect. Addressing contemporary challenges with faith and wisdom. Modern challenges such as animal welfare concerns, environmental sustainability, and urban living require Muslims to approach Qurbani with thoughtful adaptation, balancing tradition and ethics. Islamic teachings provide a framework that is both sacred and practical, emphasizing mercy, justice, and responsibility. Contemporary Muslims honor this by adopting humane slaughter methods, collective Qurbani to reduce waste, and compliance with local laws. Engaging with broader society, Muslims today also have the opportunity to educate non-Muslims about the ethical foundations of Qurbani, dispelling misconceptions and fostering interfaith understanding. By demonstrating commitment to ethics and compassion, believers contribute positively to social harmony. Personal stories of transformation. Countless personal testimonies reveal how engaging with Ibrahim's dream and Qurbani transforms hearts, families who deepen their faith through preparation and sacrifice. communities, who find joy and purpose in collective charity, individuals who overcome selfishness and cultivate empathy. These stories illuminate the living power of Ibrahim's legacy, a power that changes lives and renews hope. The future of Ibrahim's legacy, passing the story and its lessons to future generations, is essential. Through education, community involvement, and personal example, the legacy remains vibrant and meaningful. Teaching youth about Ibrahim's dream fosters spiritual resilience and ethical awareness, preparing them to uphold the values of sacrifice, mercy, and faith in a complex world. A call to embrace the spirit of Ibrahim's dream, the dream of Prophet Ibrahim, AES, is a beacon, a guiding light that calls believers to faith, submission, and compassion. Its message transcends time, urging us to trust in God's wisdom, to act with mercy, and to sacrifice for the betterment of ourselves and others. Through the ritual of Qurbani and its broader spiritual lessons, Muslims connect with this sacred legacy, renewing their faith and strengthening their communities. As we conclude this journey, may we all be inspired to embody Ibrahim's unwavering devotion, boundless trust, and infinite mercy. Living lives that honor God's commands and spread peace and compassion throughout the world. Another key foundation of Halal and Haram is the ethical treatment of animals. Islam teaches that animals are God's creatures, deserving respect and mercy. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized kindness to animals, condemning cruelty and encouraging care and compassion. The halal slaughtering process reflects these values. It requires that the animal be healthy, well treated before the sacrifice, and slaughtered swiftly with a sharp instrument to minimize pain. The slaughterer must invoke Allah's name at the moment of sacrifice, acknowledging the sanctity of life and the divine command behind the act. This emphasis on mercy and ethics distinguishes halal from mere dietary restrictions. It reflects a worldview where compassion and justice are core principles. Even in moments of ritual sacrifice, Islam mandates gentleness and responsibility. This teaches believers to extend kindness beyond human relations to all living beings, reinforcing a holistic ethic of care. Socially, halal dietary laws foster unity and identity among Muslims worldwide. The shared practice of consuming halal food connects Muslims across diverse cultures and nations, reinforcing a collective sense of belonging and spiritual cohesion. It is through such shared practices that communities build trust, celebrate together, and maintain their religious identity amidst a pluralistic world. Halal certification and food industries have grown significantly in response to these needs. Certification bodies ensure that food products comply with Islamic dietary laws, providing Muslims worldwide with confidence in their consumption choices. This system not only supports religious observance, but also promotes transparency and accountability in food production, encouraging ethical business practices. The global halal market thus serves as a bridge between faith, economy, and ethics. Despite the clear benefits and wisdom in these laws, challenges arise in modern contexts. With globalization, food production has become complex and verifying. Halal compliance can be difficult. Cross-contamination with haram substances, use of non-halal additives, and improper slaughtering practices threaten the integrity of halal foods. Muslims must therefore remain vigilant consumers, often relying on trusted certification and community knowledge to make informed choices. Another challenge is the misconception among non-Muslims, and even some Muslims who may view halal laws as restrictive or outdated. In reality, halal and haram rules offer profound guidance aimed at promoting health, ethical living, and spiritual mindfulness. Education plays a crucial role in dispelling myths and fostering appreciation for the depth of Islamic dietary wisdom. In Contemporary society, many Muslims also explore the environmental impact of their food choices, including halal meat consumption. Islam's teachings on stewardship, Khalifa of the earth, encourage believers to minimize waste, protect natural resources, and adopt sustainable practices. Some communities promote green halal initiatives, combining religious adherence with ecological responsibility. This shows the dynamic and holistic nature of halal laws. They are not static, but adaptable to ensure harmony between faith and modern ethical concerns. Furthermore, halal is not limited to food. It extends to lifestyle choices encompassing finance, medicine, and personal behavior. The principle of avoiding harm, darar, and seeking benefit, maslaha, guides Muslims in all areas, emphasizing the integration of spiritual, ethical, and practical wisdom. At the personal level, adhering to halal and avoiding haram strengthens a Muslim's character. It cultivates self-discipline, mindfulness, and respect for divine guidance. Each meal becomes an opportunity to express gratitude, obedience, and trust in Allah's wisdom. This daily practice shapes the believer's soul, fostering qualities of patience, humility, and compassion. Additionally, halal dietary laws contribute to societal well-being by promoting fairness and justice. For example, avoiding intoxicants like alcohol helps maintain social order and personal responsibility. Prohibitions against dishonest or harmful practices ensure that consumption does not contribute to exploitation or injustice. Thus, halal acts as a framework for ethical consumption and living. In many Muslim cultures, preparing and sharing halal food is an act of charity and hospitality, reinforcing social bonds and mutual support. Festivals like Eid al-Adha exemplify these values, where community members gather to share food, celebrate faith, and support the needy. The communal aspect of halal eating enhances a sense of belonging and collective identity, which is vital in sustaining religious and cultural heritage. To embrace halal and haram fully is to embark on a journey of spiritual refinement and ethical consciousness. It invites Muslims to engage deeply with their faith, making every bite a conscious act of worship and care. This holistic approach nurtures both individual well-being and communal harmony, embodying the comprehensive nature of Islam as a way of life. In conclusion, the wisdom behind Islamic dietary laws encompasses far more than simple rules about what to eat and avoid. It integrates spiritual purity, physical health, ethical treatment of animals, social justice, and environmental stewardship. By adhering to halal and avoiding haram, Muslims align themselves with a divine path designed to nurture body, mind, and soul, while fostering compassion and fairness within society. As we continue exploring these themes, we will delve into practical aspects of halal food preparation, certification processes, and the lived experiences of Muslims worldwide, uncovering how these ancient laws remain vibrant and relevant today. Practical guidelines, halal certification, and the global culture of Islamic dietary laws. As we continue our exploration of the wisdom behind Islamic dietary laws, it becomes essential to understand how these divine principles translate into daily life, industry, and global culture. Halal and haram are not merely theological concepts, but living realities that shape what Muslims consume, how food is prepared, and how communities connect across the world. This part delves into the practical application of halal laws, the role of certification, the cultural richness of halal food traditions, and how Muslims navigate these laws in the modern world. The first practical step in observing halal is understanding what qualifies food as halal and what makes it haram. Beyond the broad prohibitions such as pork, blood, carrion, and intoxicants, there are detailed guidelines on how animals must be raised, slaughtered, and processed. For meat to be halal, the animal must be alive and healthy at the time of slaughter. The slaughterer must be a sane adult Muslim who invokes the name of Allah by saying Bismillah, Allahu Akbar before performing the slaughter. The method requires cutting the throat swiftly with a sharp knife to sever the windpipe, esophagus, and blood vessels while allowing the blood to drain completely. This process ensures the animal experiences minimal pain, reflecting the Islamic principle of compassion towards all creatures. Food processing and preparation also come under scrutiny. Ingredients derived from haram sources, such as gelatin from non-halal animals or alcohol used in flavorings and preservatives, render a product non-halal. Cross-contamination during manufacturing or cooking with haram substances must be avoided. These intricate details highlight the comprehensive nature of halal laws, ensuring that Muslims can trust that what they consume aligns with their faith's ethical and spiritual standards. In today's complex food industry, verifying halal compliance can be challenging. This necessity has led to the establishment of halal certification bodies worldwide. These organizations rigorously inspect production facilities, supply chains, ingredient sourcing, and processing methods to ensure adherence to Islamic standards. Certification provides Muslims with confidence and convenience, enabling them to make informed choices in supermarkets, restaurants, and markets. Halal certification involves thorough audits that examine everything from animal welfare to hygiene standards. Certified products bear a halal logo or symbol recognized by the community. However, certification standards can vary between countries and certifying bodies, sometimes leading to confusion. Therefore, Muslims often rely on trusted certifiers endorsed by reputable Islamic authorities. The halal certification industry has grown exponentially, becoming a multi-billion-dollar global market. This growth reflects not only the expanding Muslim population but also the increasing demand from non-Muslims interested in ethical, safe, and humane food products. Halal foods are sought after for their high standards in cleanliness and ethical treatment, illustrating how Islamic dietary laws resonate beyond religious boundaries. Culturally, halal food traditions are rich and diverse, reflecting the wide geographical spread of Islam. From the spicy kebabs of the Middle East to the fragrant biryanis of South Asia and the flavorful stews of Africa to the fusion cuisines in Western countries, halal food is a vibrant expression of faith and identity. These culinary traditions are often passed down through generations, embodying cultural pride and religious adherence. Communal meals during Islamic festivals, such as Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, emphasize the role of halal food in bringing people together. Sharing halal food strengthens bonds within families and communities, creating moments of joy, gratitude, and unity. It also provides opportunities to teach younger generations about their faith and cultural heritage. In non-Muslim majority countries, Muslims face unique challenges in accessing halal food. They often seek out specialty stores, halal-certified restaurants, and community networks to maintain their dietary laws. Many cities now have thriving halal food scenes, including supermarkets and eateries catering to diverse Muslim populations. This development not only supports religious observance, but also fosters cultural exchange and economic integration. Halal food practices also extend into hospitality and tourism. The halal tourism industry caters to Muslim travelers seeking accommodations, dining, and recreational activities that comply with Islamic principles. Hotels offering halal food, prayer facilities, and alcohol-free environments attract Muslim tourists worldwide, showcasing the practical implications of halal laws in a globalized world. Moreover, the halal lifestyle includes ethical considerations. Beyond food, influencing fashion, finance, and personal behavior. For example, halal cosmetics avoid ingredients derived from non-halal animals, and Islamic finance prohibits interest and unethical investments. This holistic approach reinforces that halal and haram are comprehensive concepts guiding a Muslim's entire way of life. Education is paramount in promoting awareness and adherence to halal dietary laws. Islamic institutions, community centers, and online platforms provide resources and training to Muslims and businesses. Understanding the science behind halal slaughter, the reasons for prohibitions, and how to identify certified products empowers Muslims to uphold their faith confidently. In recent years, scientific studies have explored the health benefits of halal foods, including better hygiene standards, safer meat processing, and nutritional advantages. Such research supports the integration of faith-based dietary laws with modern health and safety standards, promoting overall well-being. The ethical consumption embodied in halal laws encourages Muslims to be mindful consumers. This includes considering the welfare of animals, the impact of food production on the environment, and the social implications of their purchases. Muslims are encouraged to support local farmers, fair trade, and sustainable practices, aligning religious duties with global ethical movements. Halal food also plays a vital role in interfaith understanding. By showcasing the compassion, cleanliness, and ethics embedded in Islamic dietary laws, Muslims can foster dialogue with other communities. Food becomes a bridge connecting diverse peoples, promoting mutual respect and cooperation. To sum up, the practical application of halal and haram in today's world involves navigating complex food systems with knowledge, integrity, and faith. Certification processes provide structure and assurance, while cultural traditions enrich the Muslim experience. The halal lifestyle extends beyond diet into a holistic ethical framework that nurtures the body, soul, and society. For Muslims, observing halal is an ongoing journey of faith, discipline, and ethical consciousness. It is an act of worship that nurtures a profound connection with Allah, expresses compassion for His creation, and strengthens communal bonds. As global awareness of halal grows, the wisdom behind Islamic dietary laws continues to inspire healthier, more ethical, and spiritually fulfilling ways of living. In our next segment, we will explore specific examples of halal cuisine from around the world, share stories of Muslim communities maintaining these traditions, and discuss how embracing halal principles can transform lives in meaningful ways. Cultural diversity, global halal practices, challenges, and the future of halal living. We continue our journey into understanding the wisdom behind Islamic dietary laws. It becomes clear that halal and haram are more than just religious commandments. They are deeply woven into the social fabric, cultural identity, and daily lives of Muslims worldwide. The richness of halal practices reflects a diversity of traditions, innovations in compliance, and evolving challenges in a rapidly globalizing world. In this part, we explore how halal manifests across different cultures, the modern issues Muslims face in maintaining these laws, and what the future holds for halal living. The global Muslim population is incredibly diverse, spanning continents, languages, and ethnicities. Despite this diversity, halal dietary laws serve as a unifying thread, connecting communities through shared religious practice and values. From the bustling streets of Jakarta to the souks of Marrakesh, from the villages of rural Pakistan to the metropolitan cities of Europe and North America, halal food is both a spiritual necessity and a cultural hallmark. One of the most fascinating aspects of halal is how it adapts and integrates with local customs while preserving core Islamic principles. For example, in South Asia, halal food includes an array of richly spiced dishes like biryani and kebabs, infused with centuries-old culinary traditions. Here, halal is not just about the method of slaughter, but the celebration of flavors, family, gatherings, and religious festivals. In the Middle East, dishes such as hummus, falafel, and grilled lamb form staples that adhere strictly to halal rules while reflecting regional tastes. In Africa, halal cuisine incorporates indigenous ingredients and cooking styles, resulting in unique flavors like suya, spiced grilled meat, popular in West Africa. Each culture adds its own culinary touch, enriching the tapestry of halal foods. This diversity highlights Islam's flexibility and the capacity of halal to thrive in varied environments. In Western countries, the rise of halal food reflects both the growth of Muslim populations and increased awareness of ethical consumption. Halal restaurants and supermarkets have become common in cities like London, New York, and Sydney, providing Muslims with access to faith-compliant foods amidst a largely non-Muslim environment. These businesses often emphasize not only religious compliance but also quality, sustainability, and transparency, appealing to a broader clientele interested in ethical eating. However, living halal in non-Muslim majority contexts can pose challenges. Muslims may encounter difficulty verifying the halal status of processed foods or restaurant meals. The risk of cross-contamination, lack of certification, or misunderstanding by service providers requires vigilance and community support. In response, Muslim communities often develop networks of trusted halal providers and advocate for clearer labeling and stricter certification standards. The importance of halal certification agencies becomes paramount in this context. These agencies inspect and approve food production, processing, and distribution, ensuring compliance with Islamic laws. Given the variety of halal standards internationally, many organizations collaborate to harmonize guidelines, fostering trust among consumers worldwide. These certifications have also boosted halal tourism, where hotels and resorts offer halal food options, prayer spaces, and alcohol-free environments, catering to Muslim travelers. Another emerging trend is the increasing focus on ethical sourcing and sustainability within halal practices. Recognizing the Islamic principles of stewardship, Khalifa, many halal producers and consumers advocate for environmentally responsible farming, humane animal treatment, and minimal waste. This green halal movement aligns religious values with contemporary global concerns, enhancing the relevance of halal in the 21st century. The halal industry's economic potential is vast. It spans meat production, processed foods, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, and fashion, all adhering to halal principles. This diversification provides Muslims worldwide with products that meet their religious and ethical standards while supporting global trade and entrepreneurship. Education remains a vital pillar in sustaining halal practices. Awareness campaigns, seminars, and digital platforms inform Muslims about halal requirements, emerging issues, and best practices. This empowerment encourages informed choices and helps preserve halal integrity amid market complexities. Yet, misconceptions about halal food persist, sometimes fueled by stereotypes or misinformation. Addressing these requires dialogue, transparency, and outreach. Muslims and halal businesses often engage in community events, open houses, and cultural exchanges to showcase halal's ethical and spiritual foundations. Such efforts build bridges, fostering mutual respect and understanding. Looking to the future, halal living continues to evolve. Innovations in food technology, such as lab-grown meat and plant-based alternatives, prompt discussions on their halal status. Islamic scholars and authorities analyze these advancements, balancing religious principles with scientific progress. This dynamic engagement ensures halal remains a living tradition, responsive to new realities while rooted in divine guidance. The global halal community also embraces inclusivity, welcoming non-Muslims who appreciate halal's ethical approach to food and lifestyle. This broad appeal highlights halal's potential to contribute positively to global food security, animal welfare, and consumer ethics. On a personal level, embracing halal is a journey of faith and mindfulness. It calls Muslims to continually align their consumption with spiritual values, promoting health, compassion, and gratitude. Sharing halal meals strengthens family bonds, fosters community, and enriches cultural identity. Personal reflections, contemporary challenges, and the spiritual legacy of halal living. As we reach the final segment of our journey, exploring the wisdom behind Islamic dietary laws, it is important to reflect on how these laws shape not only the individual Muslim's daily life, but also the broader spiritual and ethical legacy passed down through generations. The principles of halal and haram are not mere regulations. They are profound guides toward a life of mindfulness, compassion, and faith. This concluding chapter invites us to consider personal experiences, address modern challenges, and embrace the spiritual richness that halal living offers. Personal reflections. Living halal as a spiritual journey. For many Muslims, observing halal dietary laws is more than following rules. It is a continual spiritual journey. Each meal is an opportunity to renew one's connection with Allah, practicing gratitude for the sustenance provided and humility in acknowledging God's sovereignty. Eating halal instills a sense of discipline and consciousness that extends beyond food into all aspects of life. Individuals often recount how adhering to halal has brought them peace and clarity. By choosing halal foods, they feel they are protecting their bodies and souls, fostering health and spiritual purity. This mindful consumption becomes a form of worship, reminding believers that every action, even something as routine as eating, can carry sacred significance. Families also find halal practices to be a source of unity and identity. Preparing and sharing halal meals strengthens bonds and creates a shared space where faith is expressed and nurtured. This shared commitment to halal living helps preserve cultural and religious heritage, especially for Muslims living as minorities in diverse societies. Navigating contemporary challenges. Despite its deep roots and widespread practice, halal living faces several modern challenges that require thoughtful navigation. One major challenge is the complexity of the global food supply chain. With ingredients sourced worldwide and processed in multifaceted ways, verifying halal compliance can be daunting. Hidden haram substances such as gelatin, emulsifiers, or alcohol-based flavorings may be present in unexpected products. For conscientious Muslims, this necessitates vigilance, research, and sometimes reliance on trusted certification bodies. Another challenge is the rise of vegetarianism and veganism, which raise questions about halal status. While plant-based diets are generally permissible, some issues arise regarding cross-contamination or the use of non-halal additives. Moreover, new food technologies like lab-grown meat challenge traditional halal frameworks, prompting scholars to deliberate on their permissibility. Environmental concerns also come to the fore. Animal farming's impact on climate change, water usage, and land degradation invites Muslims to consider sustainability within halal guidelines. Movements advocating ethical farming, reducing waste, and promoting local, organic produce resonate deeply with Islamic principles of stewardship, khalifa, and moderation, wasatiyya. The globalization of halal food introduces cultural challenges. 2. In non-Muslim majority countries, Muslims may face limited availability of halal options or skepticism about certification authenticity. Building awareness, advocating for clear labeling, and fostering community support are ongoing efforts to overcome these barriers. The spiritual significance of halal beyond. Food, while halal primarily addresses dietary laws, its spiritual impact permeates all aspects of a Muslim's life. Observing halal cultivates a lifestyle marked by ethical mindfulness, respect for creation, and continuous remembrance of Allah's commands. Halal living encourages believers to practice self-control, gratitude and compassion, qualities that foster moral integrity and social harmony. It also reinforces the idea that obedience to God is comprehensive, involving everyday choices and habits, not isolated acts. This holistic spiritual discipline helps Muslims navigate life's complexities with clarity and purpose, strengthening their faith and character. Halal as a legacy for future generations. The preservation and transmission of halal principles is a vital legacy for Muslim communities worldwide. Educating children about halal and haram, involving youth in community activities around halal food, and creating supportive environments ensure that these laws remain vibrant and meaningful. As younger generations face diverse cultural influences and modern lifestyles, maintaining halal observance becomes a conscious choice that links them to their faith and heritage. Encouraging questions, providing accessible information, and fostering inclusive communities empower youth to embrace halal living confidently. Halal and interfaith. Understanding halal dietary laws also serve as a bridge for interfaith dialogue and mutual respect. Increasing awareness about halal's ethical, spiritual, and health dimensions helps demystify Islamic practices and promotes cultural exchange. Sharing halal cuisine in multicultural settings often opens doors to conversations about faith, ethics, and shared human values. These interactions contribute to peaceful coexistence and enrich societal diversity. Final reflections, embracing the wisdom of halal and haram. Closing, the wisdom behind Islamic dietary laws is a testament to Islam's comprehensive guidance for a balanced, ethical, and spiritually fulfilling life. Halal and haram are more than dietary categories. They are expressions of obedience, compassion, and mindfulness that shape how Muslims relate to themselves, others, and the Creator. By choosing halal, Muslims honor a sacred trust, caring for their bodies, preserving spiritual purity, showing mercy to animals, and fostering social justice. These choices ripple outward, influencing communities, economies, and global food practices. The challenges of modernity call for renewed commitment and thoughtful adaptation, ensuring halal living remains authentic and relevant. Through education, innovation, and dialogue, the Muslim community continues to uphold this divine legacy with pride and responsibility. May this understanding inspire believers to embrace halal as a source of blessing, guidance, and unity. May every meal remind us of God's mercy and the profound interconnectedness of faith, health, and ethics. And may the principles of halal and haram illuminate our paths, nurturing hearts devoted to Allah and lives dedicated to compassion and justice. Thank you for joining this journey through the wisdom behind Islamic dietary laws. May your path be filled with peace, purity, and divine blessing.